Anyway, let's get into this. White people aren't native to anywhere propaganda. Britons were mostly black 5,000 years ago, new study suggests, which is absolutely not the case. They were at the most a little bit swarthy. That's been proven multiple times in multiple studies by multiple archaeologists and anthropologists, etc., etc., etc. That's been the accepted one for decades. Trust the science and all that, as they keep telling us. But then some alternate group don't bother looking into who funds them, goes, actually, everyone was black. Hmm? Hmm? They were all black, all the Tariq Nasheeds out there. The Britons responsible for the building of the iconic Stonehenge were probably black, a study has suggested. Data from 348 ancient genomes gathered from across Eurasia have been reconstructed by scientists at the University of Ferrara in Italy, which show almost all Europeans had dark skin until around 3,000 years ago. And I guess all the really dark people just vanished. Yeah? Because if there was white people, that would have been through possibly a single gene mutation. Was that person Adam and just buffed all the white people and then they shoved all the black people out to Africa? Is that what happened? Is that what happened then? Talking absolute fucking shite. With Stonehenge just outside the town of Glastonbury being constructed around 5,000 years ago, experts have said we can assume the builders had dark skin. Except this is one group of experts. Literally every single other group of experts that studied this subject have said that we were a bit swarthy at most. Especially the Celts, because one thing that people keep forgetting to point out is Celts actually originated, the Gauls, Gallic, that's where it comes from, originated around central Austria in the mountains. We basically mined salt. That's what we build and I'm continuing that long and proud tradition. Right, but basically we mined salt in the mountains and we traded it all throughout Europe. And we traded it down the Mediterranean, around Italy, and then all around France, and then we settled a little bit in northern Portugal and all that as well. We settled basically that bit of the Iberian Peninsula. Then we settled in northern France, Brittany, Britons, Brittonic, get it. Then we settled Cornwall, we settled Ireland, we settled, I was about to say Northern Ireland there, Ireland. That's going to cause some drama in the comments. We settled Wales, we settled Scotland, and then we ended up fucking the Picts that already lived there, and we created us. Right, so that's how we spread everywhere. And let me tell you one thing about Central Europeans. Guess what colour they were? Stop fucking lying. But anyway, until around 1700 years ago, the majority of Europeans had dark skin. That's interesting. Because we actually have art from before then. Guess what colour the people are? Anyway, the authors of the study say, adding that most of the ancient Greeks and Romans and the Britons who built Stonehenge had dark skin, eyes, and hair. Now, Greeks are a little bit dark, but they're like swarthy, they're not black. And that's what the studies try to claim, black. Greeks aren't black, right? They're a little bit brown, but they did build Western civilization, so they get a pass. They get a pass. For now. I'm kidding. The study confirms that the shift to lighter skin, thanks to the movement of people to higher latitudes and more vitamin D intake as a result, was slower than previously thought. Garbage. Experts are still unsure why the change from darker to light skin was so slow. However, yeah, everyone in Europe, all of us, all at once, every single one, except down in the areas where people with darker skin seem to congregate, like Greece and some parts of the Balkans. Weird that, isn't that? Italy, isn't that weird? It's really weird, it's strange. However, scientists believe farmers may have compensations for vitamin D deficiencies in their diet with accessible sources such as milk and meat. Things that they obviously didn't have in the Mediterranean. There was no milk and meat down there. I mean, here's the funny thing is, like, the ancient civilizations in Babylon and all those other places all out in the Middle East, guess what they had a lot of? Milk and meat. Wild that, isn't it? Samples for the study were taken from the British Isles, mainland Europe, Russia, Central Asia, and the Middle East. I've actually never been to Stonehenge. I probably should go. I do want to visit Göbekli. Indi Beninging. Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe. I don't know how it's pronounced, but I want to go there. Dr. Silvia Garotto, an evolutionary biologist at the University of Ferrara in Italy, who led the work, told the... I'll Google it later. Told the Telegraph, by analysing ancient DNA from 348 individuals spanning 45,000 years, we reconstructed an intricate picture in which light pigmentation emerged sporadically during the first phases of our presence in Europe. Our ancestors had dark skin until very recent times. Now, they're calling it dark skin, they're calling it black. We were a bit swarthy. That was it. We were a bit swarthy. We maybe at most looked Italian. That was it. But that's not what they're saying black. Given that Stonehenge was built during the transition from Neolithic to Bronze Age, and given the high frequency of dark-skinned samples, we inferred that for that period, even in Northern Europe, it is likely that Britons who built Stonehenge displayed dark features. In other words, we're a little bit swarthy. Stonehenge is an iconic part of Britain's history. It is largely sealed off to the public, with visitors no longer being permitted to touch the stones, but they are able to walk around the monument from a short distance away. The whole monument, now ruinous, is aligned towards the sunrise on the sunset on the winter solstice. Fucking grammar. Large crowds can usually be seen at the monument during the solstice periods, as it is considered a place of worship to neo-druids, pagans, and other earth-based or old religions. English heritage does, however, permit access during the summer and winter solstice and the spring and autumn equinox. Isn't it a local farmer that owns it? I didn't know it was owned by the government. Or is it owned by English heritage? I have no idea. English heritage must be their version of historic Scotland. I'm actually going to promote historic Scotland right now. This is a silly little thing, but this is something that I done like 6 months ago. Do you know if you see how things like Edinburgh Castle, Stirling Castle, where you turn up and it's like 20, 30 quid an entry ticket, some places are like 15 quid a ticket. Do you know that if you like just pay a £5 a month to Historic Scotland, you get a little card and you just get into everything for free? For like a £5 a month. So basically visit 2 castles and it's paid for itself for the year. You should do it. That's what I'm doing. I go on drives to random places on Sundays. Went to Linlithgow Palace not that long ago. It's very pretty. But anyway, this is just more anti-white shite. That's all it is. It's basically they're trying to do the whole, white people aren't native to anywhere. Actually, white people don't have any homeland, which means we should just get rid of all of them. Like, that's what this is. It's a lot of shite. It's a lot of absolute garbage, and I'm sick of seeing this fucking stuff. Like, and one thing that I fucking had a huge argument about, this was the conversation that made Tariq Nasheed block me on Twitter. He's still not accepted my challenge to debate me on all things YouTube. But basically, he told me that I'm not Scottish, although that's a hot topic. Oh, you're Irish. Well, Scots Irish, essentially ethnically and culturally the same, right? We used to be a lot like the Irish culture until the English banned our fucking culture and even our fucking last names, but that's a story for another time. But basically, Tariq Nasheed told me that the original Scots were an ancient race of black pygmy dwarves. He said that, unironically. And I called him an R-word, and he blocked me. I still want to debate him on YouTube.